Hey, what's up, everybody? We're just coming together today. This is Steve Loney, Dr. Steve Loney, and we just want to come today and just have a general conversation with you about some things that we feel is important for us as men, and also share with you, as you see come across the screen, about Rise and what it means to us as men and how we can come together and make an impact in the lives of each other, creating a brotherhood that can actually present to every life. Everything we do in life. So that be on your job, can be in your community, whatever bothers you. We want to talk about how we can be the answer to those things. And so let's take a journey with us that we talk a little bit about who we are and what we've been, so we can be able to share with you how we all fit. I have my dad right here. Again, my name is Stephen Loney. I'm a junior, and this is senior, and we just want to talk to you. And so, Dad, how you doing?
Doing right well, man. Good, doing good.
Yeah, man. We're glad to have a chance to sit down with you. You know, we rarely have these opportunities, but just want to talk to the people a little about who we are and some of the things we have been through to kind of give them an insight of who we are and what we're about. So, if you don't mind, I guess you can introduce yourself to the people, tell them who you are, just right quick.
I'm Dr. Stephen Loney, a dad, a father. This is my son, I have a daughter. Grandchildren, a great-granddaughter. I guess the best way to describe me today, I'm a retiree, but still own a business, and moving into in the senior year of my life, and transitioning. You know, in this life, I've learned that you got to transition from adolescent to adult to senior adult, and there's so many things to focus on. And one of the things I've noticed that the importance of not only physical health, but emotional and mental and especially spiritual health. You know, with the world transitioning the way it is, the role of men in our world, in our society, in our culture has shifted. And it's important for men to get together to adjust and to align in this transition or in this shifting. You know, with the role of fatherhood and the role of the changing shifts in manhood, and with all the different, you know, it's like watching a TV commercial the other day, and I've seen several of them, and where they are making the women more dominant than the men. And so there's a shift out there that men need to come together and align with each other. To make sure that, you know, we remain the head of household, and that, you know, our role in the world doesn't get mixed up and diluted and twisted. That's my role today. You know, I'll say it all the time. You know, the game stays the same, players change, and our role, and I'm talking from a biblical perspective, has changed. You know, the good news I'm beginning to recognize in working with Rise is that there are many men who are in some dynamic roles and doing some major things, and too often it's hidden. You know, one of the things that I respect with Rise and the men that I've met is that not with a push in a dominant way, but it's simply letting the world know that there are many positive examples and things men are doing.
What I'm sharing with you is, what is the purpose of us being here? We are here because we're on assignment to share our vision of what we have created, which was a community called Rise. For the last year and a half, we have been doing a piece called Men on the Rise. And what that has been is every Monday we have a men's Zoom call, where men from all over, from different places, call in on the Zoom, and we have rap sessions. Not so much as a Bible study. We actually go depth with education. We then focus on exposure, and we talk about execution. So those three components, when we always align to really encourage men, don't sit on the sideline, but what bothers you is what you have been called to help fix. And so we're very strategic on sharing that message for the last year, but now we're transitioning to the next phase, and then we also impact, and then we also have still strive, and then to impact. And so that's what we're about. We are to go out here and take force. We're able to move forward in that what we're believing in. So we want to be strategic on rising to the next level, pushing us as men to be able to step into our rightful place so we can be the doers and be the headstones in our community. And so again, we're going to be sharing with you over time what this looks like. We'll just actually join in to click the link and also scan a QR code that's shown on the screen so we can be able to give you more information as time goes on about Rise. So just make sure that we're tuning in to what's coming before you. So when you get the opportunity, go ahead and join in. Click the link, fill out the information. What we're going to do is make sure we give you all the information that can be helpful for you to make a decision on how you can connect and follow through and be able to do the things right there in your own community. We're going to look forward to the journey. But what I want to share with you a little bit about ourselves, because we're not perfect. We have not come from a blue collar, pretty much all the answers, but we found some things along the way that works. And again, my father, he serviced his community here, and I service my community in my local area. But we had a journey ourselves. We have a path of where we've learned some things along the way, and we want to make sure we're going to share with you how we face those things, not in our mountaintops, but also in our valley lows. Because the greatest thing is, in the toughest times in your life, that's when you can get the best of yourself. It creates a new synergy. You can go deeper into who you are and trust in who God has called you to be when you're going through your valley versus your peak times. So we're going to talk more about that in our sessions, but don't disqualify yourself. That's what I'm saying. And God has called you to something great, and we want to walk beside you to actually help you to see everything that's within you so it can be able to come full circle. So definitely, like I said, we're going to be here. We're going to come to you time to time, but go ahead and make sure today you scan this QR code, tap in with us, because we want to connect with you and be able to build a bond and a brotherhood that's going to last for a lifetime.
There's one thing, as clinical director for behavioral health care clinic, I've been a clinician over 40 years. I've been in business 15 years, and I'm a retired social worker, and I'm active in the community. And none of this could have been achieved without relationships with other men, who have guided me and assist me in maintaining what I have now. There's one thing getting something, and it's how you maintain it. And it's not what you know, it's who you know. Rise as an avenue or a way of, if you're business minded. I always say, once you get 21 years old, you're too young for a job. Jobs are for teenagers. One of the areas that in this day, as men, we need to be striving for a career or a skill, so we'll be able to make the money to get the finances to live a life of quality and a good life that'll allow us to live. And the other thing is, it took me being around other men to identify my gifts and my talents. It took the being around other men to recognize the direction I need to go in. So in Rise, it's mentoring, it's guidance, it's leadership, it's being a way that I can come somewhere and be taught. I'm 74 years old, and I'm older than most men there, but every time I go on to Rise and listen and be around other men, I learn so much. I'm still learning. There's no way at no age that you stop learning. And I understand today, at this phase in my life, that the importance of health, going to the doctor, and too often that is a major issue with men. We have to encourage each other to get out there and make sure each of us are going to the doctor and getting the treatment that we need to get. The other thing is, as men, we need somewhere to go and express our feelings and our emotions. That old Clint Eastwood, way of being hardcore and not, stuffing your feelings and not sharing. No, that needs to stop. You know, as men, there's one thing that's so important. That's the human beings. You know, as human beings, we need community, and we need people in our lives. And too often we've been separated and distanced from one another. It's time to come on back home, and as men, we come together. I remember as a child, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York in the 50s and 60s. And back then, you know, the community park was where we all went, you know. And so at the park, you know, the older men guided the younger men, and they taught us, you know. In today's society, too often people are drifting away in social media, and, you know, we're not unified. You know, if it wasn't for those guys, I remember we'd play bongos, and we'd sing songs, and we'd play basketball. We'd come together and we'd communicate and teach one another and inspire one another. You know, if somebody needed a job, it was a man in that group would say, there's something over there. You know, if I was in a relationship in my marriage or my relationship was going bad, I had somebody to talk to and encourage me and give me the strength and the guidance to move through life's challenges and not sit down and isolate and go get me some liquor and some drinking, but learn how to move through life's challenges. And so I used to say it, so when I go through life's challenge, those difficult ones, those have become learning experiences. And together as men, it may seem difficult at the time, but together we can go through.
Awesome, Zay. I appreciate you sharing that, because what we're here to do is build resilience, impact, and we're here to strive to impact. That's what Rise is about. We're here to be the change, again, that we want to see. And not saying we won't have our tough times. We can have our best of days and our worst of days all in the same day. But we want to know that you have support there to help you through, so you can be the best version of you. So we can definitely not just have a dream, but we can actually live and walk into our dream and be everything that we believe we can do. And so again, I want to encourage you, tap in. We have a call. We meet still on Mondays, and we want to make sure that you have an opportunity yourself, but anybody else that you know, to tap in and connect with us. We want to be able to meet you wherever you are, clear where you are in the country or the world. You're welcome to be a part of this vision and this point of Rise. It's not just a black thing. It's not just one all. No, we talk to all men. If you are a man, you're welcome to come to the room. And I welcome you to be a part. And not just to be there to be taught, but to add to. We want to hear from you. We want to see how we can support those things you have a heart for. And no matter if you haven't done the first step. I just talked to a brother yesterday who has a vision of getting started helping the homeless. And so what I did, I called and made connections for him, because I already have resources in that space. I said, you don't have to start your own thing. Meet this person right here and you can support, and they can help you to get that started. But we don't know unless we share, because sharing is where we can actually find out how we can be there to walk with each other. And so again, we're here just as a springboard to be able to help men find out where they fit. And we look forward to walk this journey with you. So do tap in. We're going to see you soon. Y'all have a great day.